This is Morgan Hazelwood, back again with more writing tips and writerly musings. Today, I'm here to share with you incorporating critique, a Balticon 55 panel. Now, while I was all over the place at the convention, since this panel was marked as not recorded, I made sure to take careful notes to share with you. Now, while descriptions of a panel are often more notional than reality, this one was more accurate than most. Someone's read your work in progress and they have feedback. How do you know what should be worked in, and how can you do it so that changes feel consistent with what you've written? How can you deal with conflicting suggestions? And what's the difference between constructive feedback and a reader's personal preference? The panelists for Doc Coleman as moderator, Mark L. Van Name, Devin Randall, D.A. Jowlin Spires, and C.L. Polk. First up, who to ask for critique. While I usually prefer a mix of readers and writers, especially for a first-time beta pass with no more than 5 beta readers in a single round, I was curious to hear what the panelists suggested. They ran the gamut from trusted friends to writers to readers to editors. The more books one has published, typically the fewer readers they preferred. Mark L. Van Name at this stage only takes critique from his editor. Devin Randall writes more for performance arts, and so early showings of his plays are critical to his revision process, often called workshopping a play. So next up, what do you ask a critiquer? If you've been here a while, you know my mantra: the best way to get the sort of feedback you want is to ask for it. And while I have an extensive checklist, most of the pros keep it simple. First, experts to weigh in on science or whatever expertise you don't have. Secondly, watching for inconsistencies. Thirdly, where the reader gets confused. Fourth, what their immediate reaction is. Did you like, dislike, or would you recommend the story? And the fifth suggestion was to ask the readers to fill in the blank. This story is about blank. Now, Devin, with his performance critique, quoted the Liz Lerman performance level checklist he employs. First up, what pops? In other words, what excites you and what hits you in the feels? Secondly, if you have, as the writer, any story issues or questions you want to ask the audience, go ahead and ask them. Third, have the reader ask any questions they have, and then accept open-ended feedback. By starting off with the positives and then questioning on the parts that you as a writer are concerned about, you start off high and keep the focus where you wanted it. And then by opening up to their questions and their feedback, you get an honest response, but it should be a good mix of the good and the bad. So next, they talked about what feedback to use. Completely validating my approach, the panelists as a whole agreed feedback tells you what may need fixing, but not how to fix it. While readers or even professional editors may make suggestions, you are the owner of the story, of the character, of the world. Make fixes or make sure that the things you cannot change are properly set up, but do them in a way that rings true for you, the writer. It was refreshing also to hear that I'm not the only writer that takes the low-hanging fruit, the typos and word suggestions, and makes those changes first. We know the chapter might get cut, but we need to see the shape of it first. It makes those who work like I do feel like we're making progress. A positive momentum is always a good thing after the gut punch a good critique usually brings. And the final question they addressed is what to do when you have conflicting feedback. Well, it's your story. Not all readers are right for every story. Whether the feedback conflicts with another beta reader or conflicts with what you feel is right for the story, you never have to take it. Look at the advice, sit on it, and contemplate how it would change your story. And it's up to you. Is this the story you wanted to tell? Will this feedback take it in the wrong direction for you? Or will this feedback turn your story into something better than you'd even planned? And that's all for today. Thanks for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button and share it with all your friends. It goes a long way towards helping people find me. And I'll be back again next Monday with more writing tips and writerly musings. Bye-bye.